Yeah, you guys, I'm definitely not following this.
I'll explain what I know of
Okay,
it later.
yeah, great, thank you.
Let's get into this. I promise I won't keep you too long. I think I've probably got 7 or 8 questions, and in that, things, conversation goes. But thank you for joining me today.
Sure,
So I
of
actually
course.
enjoyed this film a lot more than I was expecting to.
You're not the first person to say that. I think people come to it and they're like, "What? What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay." I think that's the
Yeah,
that's the most common response I've been getting.
absolutely. Because I mean, you hear it like independent, okay, cool, funny title. I was like, right, especially with British humor and American humor being so different. I know as a reviewer, I have to go in a bit of a different mindset sometimes because I'm like, it's sometimes different audiences. But I was very shocked at how funny I found this and the absurdity mixed with, I don't know if it was intentional, but there was some great sarcasm in there from some of the characters. And I was like, this is very funny. So I think I'll go straight into it. You are obviously co-writer, co-director with your wife. So if you just want to tell me how Hanky Panky came to be, and in that the process of writing such a script.
It just came out of the like we just wanted to make a movie so bad that we were gonna make whatever movie we could, and that meant like working with what we had, and we were like, we got friends who can act, so we have an ensemble cast. We had this very crazy short we made with a talking napkin, so we were like talking napkin ensemble cast. We had access to this cabin, so we were like, okay, it's a cabin movie
Mhm.
ensemble cast, and okay, it's a horror movie in a cabin with a talking napkin. And then from there,
Yeah.
the rest of it really just like writes itself. You're like, okay, so now people got to start dying in a cabin. What would be killing them in a talking hat movie? Everything from then actually flowed quite logically, I think. Once you start
As
with the
logically.
Yeah, once you start with just like a base layer of this is insane, but then you just try to play it out with 100% commitment as seriously as you can, it's just that then that's what you end up with.
Nice, nice. And did you think both of you and your wife's humor is reflected in the
It's
script and
I
how
think
you
it's
wrote the
really
characters?
especially with the script and the characters, a very collaborative and team effort where
Mhm.
because we made this with a group of friends, like we're
Yeah.
close friends with everybody who worked on the movie. And so everyone got a say in their character and helped develop
Nice.
it and worked on this. We all worked on the script together. So um it's really a reflection. I think the humor itself is a reflection of the whole group rather than, I mean, there's pieces in there that I'm like, that's
Mhm.
me and or Lindsay or whoever, but it's really like it's its own thing that sort of came to life.
Nice. So you allowed sort of the actors to have that kind of freedom with the characters almost to be like, bring yourself into it, bring your own humor into it. Was there any sort of like improv involved in that? Because there's a couple of
Yes.
scenes where I'm thinking, this, as much as you want to direct, that's got to be.
Heavily. Actually, I think most of the
Yeah.
best stuff in the movie is just moments that sort of came from improv and from actors
Nice.
just making stuff up. And we were rewriting the whole process, rewriting throughout the movie. You rewrite a lot in editing. It took a really long time
Yeah.
to edit it. Lindsay and I edited it together, and it was just like a very long, difficult editing process to get the movie where it is.
Yeah, because I can imagine. So you probably end up with what, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage that then you guys have to sort of compress down into a standard hour 30. I can imagine, as
Yeah,
well as
yeah, yeah, yeah.
writing, directing.
The first cut
That's
was like
hard.
almost 3 hours long, and which I don't know. There's a lot of 3 hour movies nowadays, but this one wanted to be under 90 minutes. Yeah, for sure. We were
Yeah, I
like, okay, we
think
gotta.
that's good. A lot of people are striving for the good 2, 3 hour mark. But I think when it comes to comedies, keeping it a nice hour and a half is good because you don't want it to be overplayed, overstretched. And your film definitely doesn't do that. It works really nicely because I know at points I was like, where is this going? What's going to happen? I'm so intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Well, I think it's probably for a couple reasons. It's not a predictable film because
No.
two things. One, when I wrote the original script, it was pretty early in my screenwriting career, and I didn't know what I was
Mm.
doing. And then, and so it's not like it like really follows an expected form. And then two, so much of the story was determined by just like what we had and what was
Mm.
available. And so it was like the characters who die in this movie mostly die in the order that we lost the availability of the actor rather than
Oh,
something
that's
sort of
fun.
dictated by the story. But because of that, I think there's some real, like, you're genuinely surprised. You would have a really hard time
Yeah.
predicting what happens next or who's going to get killed next because it's not, it's
You don't
oh, that
know.
actor has to get back to a job in Los Angeles. We got to kill him off.
Yeah, bye. Off you go. You got something better? Cool. Off you go.
Yeah. We only had Azure Parsons, who plays Lilith. We only had her for a really limited time. So not only did we have to kill her where we killed her, spoiler alert, but also we had to hide her for a while. And that, like, the entire
Oh.
genesis of what's definitely the craziest thing in the movie, which is the reveal. I'm not worried about spoilers. I think it'll only encourage people to see the movie. But the reveal that she has a face on the back of her head all just came out of, like, we were just trying to figure out why she might have a migraine or be hiding downstairs, because we didn't have her for when we were shooting the upstairs stuff. So
I was worried that she was a bit of a mystery and she was going to be like a made-up person that wasn't real, and I was very intrigued where she was going to come in, because I was like, is this sort of like, you know, from Frasier and Maris situation where not real?
Right.
But yeah, with the unpredictability, I wrote that in my review because I was like, I have seen an abundance of films and I can usually predict where some stuff is going just from knowledge of writing as well and plots and screens. I mean, there is a scene that I'm going to call it the slapping scene.
We called
where
it the slap orgy.
Yes, that's what it felt like. It went on for a very long time. I was just laughing the whole way through. And I could not have predicted that with the best will in the world. It was funny, it was shocking, and it was so stupid, but it worked so well. So for me, I want to know how many takes did you make your actors do, or was that quite a through process?
There was a lot. There was a lot of slapping. That could have gone on a lot longer. And I don't want to name names, but some people did slap other people harder than others. And
Oh no!
there was some real slapping. There was one scene that's on the cutting room floor of the movie is directly after everybody slaps each other for like a solid minute or so. Like it used to hard cut to then like everyone with ice packs on their face and they're trying to figure out like what to do with the body and whatever. And it was a very funny scene and we shot it, but then it's actually, then in the editing room you discover it's actually funnier if you just see them cut from that moment with that improv line of Lindsay when she says, so this is sad. Like that's not in the script. That's just one of my favorite improv moments. And then just to cut from that directly to the body being thrown unceremoniously into a snowbank. You go, okay, well, we lose this other funny scene, but it works better this way, and we keep the movie moving much faster. You don't have to see them make the decision to get rid of the body. They can we'll just see them immediately getting rid of it.
Yeah, it works, and it kind of adds to the absurdity of that, not having that scene after. So I think that's a really good choice. It was just like what the hell just happened? Like what?
Yeah.
What did I just watch?
Something that I learned a lot about screenwriting from editing this movie because of moments like that where you're like, you have to be willing to let the audience be behind certain things and playing catch up on some stuff. I think that's like a fun way to do it, because if you just hand everything, it's too boring. But there's a fine sort of balance here where it's like, okay, so now just have them be like, what is this body doing in the snow? And then quickly, like, sort of, I think you put it together from context, right? So I don't know, it's just a fun exercise, and like I never would have written it like that, but it made much more sense once I was in the editing room.
Yeah, it keeps the audience guessing, and that's it. You want to be fed as an audience, but then you also want to participate sometimes. And I think the participation in this one is thinking of the who did it, what's coming. Constantly on your toes.
And you're never going to know what's coming.
No, and I thoroughly can appreciate that and say that, because I mean the whole, we're going to talk about the hanky in the hat. That's the you know, this hilariousness where even when the hanky first came on and how it's done is so funny. And I was like, where is he going to be a crime fighter? Is there going to be some sort of you know, crazy. And we get a scene towards the end where there's a fight going on, and it seems
I
just
love the
next
idea of
level.
as a crime fighter though. Like like if there was a detective spinoff, Detective
This
Hanky,
little,
and he's out there
yeah, I thought it
like
was
Law and Order. They
hilarious.
show up to a crime scene, and he's like,
Well, because they made
spill a
so,
little
I'm like, this is my impression of the hanky.
spill a
Like
little bit
this
of your
little.
coffee for me. Yeah, yeah.
This is the impression that I do. And I was like, I could just imagine Sam and the hanky and Woody kind of going around together solving mysteries. And I just loved this whole
Oh my God, can you imagine him interrogating a suspect and it's a napkin?
yeah, with this hanky. And that's my thing. I was like, well, okay, this is hilarious. So okay, I'm like, right, where did the hanky come from? Where did the hat come from? Do you guys like hats and hankies? Is that the it's wonderfully out there that I'm like, where'd you get
It
it?
came from effectively nothing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a lot of the stuff in this process came from just a
Yes.
group of us sitting around spitballing, and whatever made us laugh the hardest is what ended up in the movie. I don't remember who thought of there being a killer top hat at this point.
Yeah.
Like somebody said that, one of us did, and then I know that I ran with it and wrote it into a script, but I don't like I can't even give
Yeah.
credit because I don't remember how we came up with why why?
A
I have
top
no
hat.
idea. Yeah,
A top hat
he's
over
right
a
here.
fedora.
I don't know if
You
this
know.
is. I have him still. He's a little worse for wear these days. His
Abused.
peacock feather eyes have rotted
Oh
off of his
no.
face. But
Used and abused and thrown around aggressively is a
yeah,
gentle way to.
there were actually several top hats that played Harry the Hat in the film, and because there was, flying top hat, has a mouth top hat. We have a bunch.
Oh god, that's actually, I would not have thought that there would have been a whole selection of top hats that starred. I hope they get the proper
Yeah, it's
credit.
like, it's like when you have a baby in your TV show and you get identical twins
You
to
get
play the
twins
baby.
too, yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's
like
it. Well,
Mary
the
Kate and
hats.
Ashley Olsen as a killer top hat or whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, again, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting the subplot. I won't give too many spoilers with the top hat. And I was like, there's so much going on, but it's so good. And
Thank you.
I'm just
Yeah.
so intrigued. Again, I was so intrigued all the way through. I was like, is the hat gonna succeed? And how many people is it gonna kill? Because, I had my favorite character in the whole thing, and I was like, please live.
Who
Spoilers.
who is who is your favorite character in the whole thing?
I loved Carla.
Christina will be so
Yeah.
happy to hear that. She needs
So funny.
the confidence
I
boost. She's so great.
genuinely was like, I don't know if this was the vibe that she was going for, but like that, again, that sarcasm, that sort of Christina Peretti kind of nonchalant, not giving a shit kind of vibe that she was giving. There's a great shot where um Sam, I've completely forgotten the girl's name with the curly hair.
Diane.
Yes, the love interest, and they're sort of like talking, and she's like drunk in the background, a bit blurry on the
Yeah.
sofa, and I was like, that is so brilliant. I loved just, you just see a shot and you're like, that's it, and that's it. And I'm getting so much from all characters, not even from speaking, at this point. Just that was brilliant.
All credit for that shot and most shot making to Lindsay Hahn, my
Yes.
co-director and IRL wife, who also plays Rebecca and is the production designer and the co-editor. Anyway, we again very small cast and crew. But yeah, she was really the one who was sort of spearheading the like how to get comedy gags and sort of horror invocations out of sort of where to put the camera. And the entire time I'm just focused on like the script, trying to make the script make whatever scraps of sense I could make it make sense and make it funny, and just like please for the love of God, let's get this funny. It was my
Please let this
entire
work. But that
yeah, that
sounds
was
like
my
you've got
operating system.
a good balance then. Like if
Yeah.
I think working with your partner, I can imagine, is so much fun, but I can imagine it could be quite stressful at times, especially if you've both got maybe a different artistic direction for some ideas. But you guys seem to have like a really nice balance.
Yeah, I think we work together pretty well. And we recently, years after the fact of the actual shooting, discovered like a video that we made of just the two of us, like the night before we started shooting, where we're like, we convinced all of our closest friends that we knew what we were doing and we're ready to shoot a movie, and convinced them to come up to a cabin in the middle of nowhere. And now we have to do it, and we have no money, we have no crew, we have none of the things that we were hoping we would be able to like put. We have just the absolute bare bones. Are we going to be able to pull this off? So I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll see.
you
We'll see.
did.
Well, if people watch it, then we pulled it off.
Then you pull it off. Oh, well, I was going to say one of my questions is about independent filmmaking. How did you find it working with what I would say a low budget? And obviously you got your friends involved and stuff. So how was it making an independent film? How have you found that?
We had done it many, many times with shorts and music videos and really sketch type stuff. And this was our whole team's first time attempting this with a feature. I would say you can only pull off what we pulled off here like maybe once a decade. Like you have to, in order to do this kind of movie, we had to sort of call in like every favor, like this is what we achieved, whatever you think of it, what we achieved is not easily replicable.
Yeah.
You know, because you can only sort of convince your friends to like come work on this movie and give us lights and convince a camera company to give you all the lenses and all of that. Like you can only do that so much with no money and no resources and just go out and do it. But if you can, it's tremendously fun. I had a great time. So I think everybody had a great time. Nobody died.
Yeah. And how long was filming altogether? How long were you guys actually at the cabin for?
There's disagreement. It's like a time vortex, everyone. We prepped in like a few weeks in December.
Okay.
I think we had like 3 weeks in December, and then shot in 3 weeks in January for the main body of it.
Yeah.
And then there was a few pickup days in Los Angeles, but other than that, the main thrust of it was done in like 2 months.
That's good. That's amazing. Because I know a lot of people sometimes get put off making independents thinking, hey, it's going to cost them so much, it's going to take so much time. But it's like, really, if you've got a solid foundation, you've got the team, you don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of time on it. It can be done.
Well, like I have a lot of friends who are really talented cinematographers, and I could not convince any of them to come for a whole month to do it for free, but I could convince 3 of them to come for 1 week each. So we had 3 DPs on this because especially cinematographers, they're always picking up other work and work like to shoot, whether it's shooting headshots or shooting a commercial or doing whatever. So it was not going to be feasible to get one to do the entire thing. So you have to know many cinematographers and have them come in and shoot for a week. Yeah.
That's good though, like you said, call in all those contacts, get networking, make friends, and hopefully they'll say yes and help pull off a film. Well, I'm trying to think. I think really you've answered everything apart from probably one of my last ones, which is it was with no spoilers, a nice hopeful ending. So will there be anything like a Hanky Panky 2?
I'm writing the sequel right now. I figure I should write it before it comes out, or at least before I start to get numbers, because it'll be harder to write the sequel if it bombs and nobody watches the first one. But so I gotta write it. I'm writing it right now. Yeah,
Nice. I'm excited.
There will be a script. It's very, very fun. The sequel leans much more into the alien invasion of it, and it's sort of the way I'm thinking of the sequel is Sam and Diane and Woody and gang's quest they have to rally the Topanga Women's Ayahuasca Troop against the impending threat of the now full-scale invasion of Harry the Hat and the hat kind that are coming from outer space.
So I'm imagining multiple hats.
Many hats, correct.
Different styles, flying around, baseball caps, fedoras, everything is like Age of Ultron, but with hats. Like
exactly. It's very much the sort of
I'm going full
multiverses collide to and the final standoff. Though it's not the final standoff, because I also have the third movie is also in my head.
You got 3?
Yeah, Hanky Panky 3 hat trick.
Oh, genius.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
you have to.
You have to do that.
So the first one is like I sort of pitched it as Clue on acid, murder mystery in a cabin. The second one is really Independence Day on acid, where it's like a full alien invasion. And then the third one is a war movie. It'll be like, Apocalypse Now, I think, because
I'm
that's
getting all
my
emotional thinking, I don't know,
Yeah.
Paul Little Woody's going to be set on fire or something. I don't know. Like, I'm getting all like, he's going to die. You're going to kill him off,
Yeah.
aren't you? Third film, we're
Well,
going to
I
have this
don't that
emotional. Ugh,
yeah,
see, I'm
it'll
predicting
be
it. You got to surprise me now.
a really emotional death of Woody. He has to go back to the ninth dimension or whatever.
Babies
Breaks
and
my
all
heart.
sorts
Breaks
of
my heart just thinking about it. But let me tell you, spoiler alert: Woody will survive the second movie. Okay, so you
Good,
don't have to worry about it.
good. I hope
He's
so.
making it
Because,
at least to the third one.
and please, if you manage to get loads of budgets, etc., don't do anything CGI. I want to know there's a hand there and strings controlling Woody. I want that
Yeah.
because that
Where
was
would we spend the
such
money?
perfect.
I think a lot more fake blood would be where we would go with
Yeah.
with if we had more money, because like we were able to do really good work, I think, with like, so this is just some like gaffer's
Yeah.
tape. We would put like a Ziploc bag full of fake blood in the hat, and then like
Mhm.
prick it with. There's some very fun test footage of Toby and I just like testing how fast and how big the holes in the blood bag should be, like putting a hat
Yes,
on
but
their
yeah,
head and then the
I
blood.
know the scene.
But I think maybe, in the sequel, one of my ideas is that there are more hats, they're stronger hats, stakes got to go way up, but these hats can
Rising up.
maybe crush a head a little bit more effectively, and so just like a lot more, I think a lot
Proper
more
gruesome. You went
gore.
gruesome?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think gruesome, huge gruesome gore. I'm thinking of alien invasion movies like Mars Attacks, also as like a bit of a touchstone. I think that's where this franchise goes.
God, it's a proper hat serial killer, isn't he? That's the
Yeah.
this is
But
this
you're
is
making me
it.
rethink it, because maybe I should just start again from scratch and do the Detective Hanky movie, where it's
Wait,
like a
if he doesn't,
noir
if this
crime
doesn't
thriller.
pull off, oh my God, in noir, think of
Yeah.
Ripley, the talented Mr. Hanky,
Yeah.
Mr. Woody.
It's just, I really like him as like a con man and like a
It was the voice and
detective.
everything. This like seedy, croaky voice. I was like, everything about this Hanky is just it's giving me life, and I
He's
yeah.
he's
So
he's both the villain and the detective, and nobody can
yeah.
figure out that it's the same one, even though he's a fucking napkin. That's very funny.
Oh, yes. Right, you've got so many ideas now.
Who's this? We got to find this bad napkin. Bring in the only napkin
And
detective, and it turns out it's the same
you gotta
guy.
get him a little lacy girlfriend. Little lacy
In the short,
girlfriend.
in the short, he did have a lacy girlfriend, actually.
A
Yeah,
lacy girlfriend.
she didn't make it to
Oh,
the feature, but we could bring her back.
she'd be killed like really quickly by the hat. Hat eats her. She's gone. That's
Oh
all.
my god! And now it's personal.
It's personal. That's what's yeah. Doesn't that's what it is. You took his one and only
It's
lacy love.
it's John Wick, but it's John Hanky. He's just going on a rampage. He's got nothing left to lose.
I mean,
The
it
pro the
works.
pro This is the problem that we deal with, is there are so many good ideas, right,
Ideas.
that you could do with this, that you kind of have to you just have to pick a path and go on it,
And
which is how
go.
you end up with completely random, crazy, zany bonkersness.
Well, it works and comes out 420. Very fitting. Loved that.
Yeah, we didn't
So
intentionally make a stoner comedy, but I think we made a stoner comedy.
I think you've done the genius where you don't have to take anything to go on a trip with this film. It will do it all for you.
Yeah.
And for people who don't like doing that, or AA people, this film gives you everything.
Yeah, I think you can. I
Yeah.
think you can watch it sober, but I don't think it would necessarily negatively impact the viewing experience to take whatever your garden variety of recreational drugs are while you watch it.
I think you could also make a very good drinking game,
I've been thinking about it a
out of the
lot.
film.
Like, well, I think a funny drinking game would just be to take a drink every time there's a slap, and so you forget that that's even the drinking game, and then all of a sudden in that one scene you have to just everybody's chugging.
Yeah. Oh, and when he's following the beers, that could be a fun little
Yeah.
section. Yeah.
Every time
that was
anybody,
funny, yeah.
anytime we see a new drink, take a drink. There are a lot of
Yeah.
drinks in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with Carla. She was progressively getting more drunk, her character, and I was like, this is funny. So good. Anyways, I've taken up about half an hour every time. Thank you so much for jumping on with me.
Thank you.
It's been
This is
great.
so fun.
I love the film. Like I said, I wouldn't have asked for an interview if I didn't.
I appreciate that.
I
That
was
would
like,
be-
oh, this is great.
Imagine like a gotcha journalist interview on like, so you made this terrible film.
So, yeah.
It doesn't
tell
make
there was
any
no budget.
sense. Yeah. I could see the wires.
But I love that. If anybody ever complains about that, tell them they don't know film. They don't
Nobody
know.
has ever complained about seeing any of the wire work in this movie.
It was, yeah, like I said, things like that. It's these little moments of that make me laugh out loud because it works.
Yeah.
It's not stupid. It's not dumb. It's not cheap either, which is so clever to make something not look cheaply made. So
Well, we had a really
yeah.
cool camera. I should give a shout out to the people at Digital Bolex
Yes.
who helped us out a lot. Like there's the movie kind of looks better than it should for what it is, especially and like when you get out into the wilderness, when you're shooting in like that
beautiful shots.
snowy cloud,
Yeah.
whatever, it looks like The Revenant. Like
Yeah.
it looks exactly because by the way, like you don't have to light it. Like it just looks perfect when you're out
It's just done
in
for
the
you.
snow.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Those
Yeah,
mountains
yeah.
are so gorgeous. We're way up
Right,
in the middle of nowhere in Utah.
Especially asked about budget, because I was like, you had a beautiful location, and I'm glad you used the outside as much as you did, like with the beer scenes and stuff, because it was stunning and yeah, so well shot with that. So well done for having so many contacts to come and help you to bring it to life, because it's great. You should be really proud. All of you guys should be really proud of what you've done.
You. Yeah, it's amazing that it's just like it's a movie and it's a real movie.
Yeah.
After everything, I think a lot of people, including most of the people who worked on it, are surprised that it exists and is that we like did it.
It's real.
And it's a film. And it's coming out.
People are going to watch it.
Like platforms that we've heard of. So yeah, April 19th, Amazon, Apple, and Google, and everywhere else. In the UK, not Google. In the UK, just Apple and Amazon, I think.
Apple and Amazon.
But everywhere, Apple is a worldwide English language release.
Yeah.
So you can find it just absolutely. If you're in India, Nigeria, whatever, you'll be able to watch this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. Well, we'll be sharing it. You know that, and be sharing this content. I will tag you in everything when it's ready, and just good luck with everything. And I can't wait. If you, Hanky Panky 2, mate. I want to be in it. I want a cameo.
Yeah,
I want to be killed.
Hanky Panky 2. Okay, you're in. Hanky Panky 2, it's okay if you didn't see the first one, is the working title at the moment.
Yes. I'll be an annoying Brit.
I'll make 'em up.
The hat just kills straight away. That's it. Kill off the Brits.
Yeah, if it's, I hadn't really thought about this, but if it's really we have to like, if it's really going to go hard on like global invasion, we have to like have that sequence where like on the news, you see all of the people running around getting killed in every capital, in London, in Mumbai, in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So
I'll run around my little camera and I'll get killed by
you can be like in front of Big Ben or whatever, getting killed by a hat. Sure.
Something so stereotypical as that.
Yeah, it's got to be like everyone in the front of the most recognizable global landmarks getting killed by hats. Sure.
That would be hilarious. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, crap on, get writing, mate. You gotta get this done. So
yeah, I'm trying to get it done really quickly. I have other things I have to do in my life besides just write Hanky Panky 2. So I don't think anybody wants me to spend too much time on the script.
Right. Well, thank you so much.